We're standing on the set of the High Chaparral, currently being filmed by NBC here at Old Tucson. You can see the cast and crew in the background over our shoulder. They're busily setting up the next shot. And standing here with me this morning is Ted Markland. Ted, welcome to Channel 4.
Thank you very much.
Ted, what role do you play in the High Chaparral?
I play the part of Reno, one of the 5 fellows they hired to help them on the ranch, you know, and to fight off the Indians and the bad men and everybody.
What scene are you currently shooting today? What show is this going to be? Do you know?
This one's called this show is called The Peacemaker, this episode, and has to do with the character Blue marries an Indian girl, and one of the Indian braves is jealous, so he attacks the ranch. This is right near the end of the show in this particular scene.
What role do you play in this prominently so that our viewers can look for you?
Reno.
Reno. Mm-hmm. And what will you be doing in this particular episode?
Well, all of us are going to be, mainly it's in this fight, we're all going to be fighting, and we take different, positions throughout the ranch. And, of course, you never know, they work it out different. The Henry Wills, the stunt gaffer, the head man, he sets it up, and I don't know, it becomes involved, but we're all there protecting them.
We usually see you standing up on top of the water tower, don't we?
Mine's the roof.
Yours is the roof. Right. Who's up on the water tower that we see so often?
Could be Bobby Hoy. I don't know if I see him.
I think we saw him walk by. We'll talk to him later. Ted, who else is in the cast besides you in this particular episode?
We're all in it, all 11.
Do you have any guest stars that our viewers might look for?
Yes, Barbara Hershey is very good. She played on the Monroes last year. It was a very good show, I thought.
Was on another network?
Yeah, I think so. She plays the Indian girl, and Victor Jory.
Victor Jory, we all remember him. Victor, I think, has made several movies here at Old Tucson.
Yes, very good.
Probably a homecoming for him. Barbara Hershey, I take it, plays the part of Mark Slade's wife.
Her name will be Moonfire.
Moonfire. Is this a permanent marriage, or can we say at this point?
Unfortunately, she has to be eliminated.
She meets her demise.
Yes.
Well, that's too bad. Ted, thank you very much for joining us today, and we'll look forward to The Peacemaker upcoming on the High Chaparral Sunday night at 8 o'clock on NBC and Channel 4 in Tucson.
Thank you very much.
Here we are once again on the set of High Chaparral. What you just saw were the many tourists and fans that the program has already built up. There are quite a few tourists out here this morning on the set of High Chaparral watching the action, which is being filmed just behind us here. And visiting with us here at Channel 4 is Roberto Contreras, who is a member of the ranch team on High Chaparral. Roberto, welcome to Channel 4.
How you doing?
What episode are we shooting this morning?
This is the Peacemaker.
The Peacemaker. And what role do you play in this episode?
Well, I play the part of Pedro.
Pedro. Can you tell us a little bit about any prominent action that you may encounter in this episode?
Well, I don't have too much to do in this one. I normally play the comedy relief, It's the comedy.
When the action gets a little serious, you come in and
they call me.
I'm sure our viewers will recognize that mugging right there. Roberto, how many television series have you appeared in?
Oh boy, that's hard to count. I think I've been in every Western that's, in the last 10 years, I would say, and at one time or the other, and every television series.
Have you filmed any other programs or shows here in Tucson besides the High Chaparral?
Certainly. I've been here several times. I was here in the Battlelanders with Alan Ladd and Ernest Borgnine, Dr. Curado, and I've been here. We did a pilot called The Tiger of Sonora here in Tucson, and we did Chaparrals, of course.
Whatever happened to that pilot?
It didn't go.
We got lucky with this one. We've all got our fingers crossed. We hope the High Chaparral will be a big success.
Oh, let's hope so.
Equal the success of Bonanza, maybe.
Yes, let's do it that way.
How many episodes will you be shooting here in the next few weeks?
I think we have, aside from this one, we have 3 more.
Will there be any other so-called guest stars arriving in Tucson for these, or will these all pretty much...
No, there'll be guest stars on each one of them.
Can you name some?
No, I don't know exactly who they...
But each show does have a so-called guest star in addition to the regular cast.
That's correct.
I believe
the next one is comedy.
The next one is comedy?
Yes.
I believe Victor Jory is...
Victor Jory is in this one. And who was the one? I can't remember offhand who's the next guest star that we're going to have.
Roberto, we want to thank you for taking time out from the busy shooting schedule today to talk to us on Channel 4, and we'll look forward to seeing you on High Chaparral this Sunday night at 8 o'clock on Channel 4 and NBC in Tucson.
I want to thank you for having me here with you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Once again, we're on the set of High Chaparral, just 13 miles west of Tucson on the old Tucson famous movie location, as the signs say. And behind us you see some of the many visitors on the set today out to watch their favorite actors and actresses going to work in High Chaparral. And standing with me this morning is Jerry Summers. Jerry, welcome to Channel 4 and welcome to Tucson.
Great, good
I'm
to be
sure
here.
you've heard that many times.
A little bit, yeah.
Jerry, your background is that of a stuntman, is it not?
That's correct.
How did you get involved in that?
Well, it's kind of a long story. I met the stuntman. I was on the gym team. I rodeoed for a few years, worked out with him. And this thing where you get a job and then you get another job, and if you do a good job, you kind of get a name for yourself. You go on from there. It's actually harder to become a stuntman than it is an actor.
How did you make the transition from stuntman to actor?
Well, I have to owe that to two people. That's our producer, director, Billy Claxton, our exec producer, Dave Dortort. They took an interest in me and let me go with this show.
What part do you play in the High Chaparral?
Ira Bean.
Ira Bean. I believe we saw you and Mark Slade go into it in the pilot.
Right, we did a little fight.
What are you doing today on the set?
Actually, we're just fighting the Indians.
There's no real close-up love scenes or anything like that? Is it all action scenes?
Right.
Do you do any falling off the roof or anything like that, or are you just basically shooting at them today?
Just shooting today. I have fallen off the roof a few times, but today is just bang bang time.
Do you and the rest of the actors do your own stunt work, or do doubles fill in for you in the fights and the falls and the riding scenes?
Actually, everybody else on this show is doubled, except for Roberto and myself. We're ex-stuntmen, so they hired us so we can do our own action and save production time so they don't have to bring a double in.
Do you find this more enjoyable? I guess the time goes a little faster for you, doesn't it?
Acting or doing stunt work?
We're doing both at the same time. In other words, doing your own stunts, not having to stand by while the double fills in for you.
Well, we actually enjoy it. We love it. That's our job. It's been our job for about 15, 20 years. And it's a great opportunity to act in a show, especially a show like this. Great people, good people, and I think one of the best series ever to hit TV.
How many episodes do you have in the can at this point?
I believe we have 22.
And how many future episodes before the season wraps up for you?
I think we're going to go to 30.
To 30?
I believe.
How long will you be in Tucson?
We will be here another 4 weeks.
And then you go to Hollywood and the
Right.
soundstage.
Right, and then we'll alternate back and forth.
And we've been talking to Jerry Summers, who plays the part of Ira Bean on the High Chaparral. Jerry, thank you for joining us
Thank
on
you.
Channel 4.
My pleasure.
It's been our pleasure. We're standing here now talking to Don Collier, a veteran in movies and television of 20 years. I'm sure Don is no stranger to our many viewers out there. Don's most recent television assignment before the High Chaparral was a series on NBC and Channel 4 called The Outlaws. Don, welcome to Channel 4.
Well, thanks, Bob. It's a pleasure to be associated with Channel 4 again. NBC has always been real good to me, and I'm tickled to death to be working for them again.
Don, what part do you play in the High Chaparral?
I'm the foreman of the ranch.
I believe that's Sam Butler, isn't it?
Sam Butler is a character, and we've got a big cattle ranch here, and we just lost an Indian off the horse.
Our viewers will see that in a few weeks probably on the High Chaparral. What particular duties is Sam Butler performing in this episode? I believe it's called The Peacemaker, isn't it?
Peacemaker. That just about sums it up. We try to settle a peace and kill all the Indians and settle this dispute that Mark Slade has got us into.
How does the High Chaparral compare to The Outlaws?
Well, The Outlaws was a good series, very good series, and dear to my heart. But I think Chaparral is going to be even that much better. There's a lot more interesting characters in it, running people, and doing it all on location like this, the great majority of it on location, is beneficial. I think it's a much better series.
Who's directing this episode? Is it a name that will be familiar to our viewers? Is Bill Claxton involved in this one?
Bill is, of course, the producer now. He's not directing this. A fellow by the name of Richard Benedict, who his face might be familiar because he was an actor at one time, and he is now directing.
Will Bill Claxton be doing any directing duties in the future?
Bill will try to do as many as possible, which will be, I imagine, 10 a year, that kind of thing.
Do you have any idea when the Peacemaker will appear on Tucson's TV screens?
I sure don't, but I imagine sometime in January.
In January.
Yeah.
We'll look forward to it. We've been talking with Don Collier, best known to our Channel 4 and High Chaparral viewers as Sam Butler. Don, thank you for joining us on Channel 4.
Thank you, Bob. A pleasure.
Thank you, Sue. We're sitting here today talking to an old friend of yours, Mark Slade. Hello, Mark.
Hi, Sue. Sorry I had to die in the pilot.
Mark, can you tell us a little bit about the character that you play on the High Chaparral?
Yeah, I play a kid named Billy Blue Cannon, who's the son of Leif Erickson, and he's a very sensitive young guy. He's trying to understand things that are going on around him, the situation that the family's in and so forth. He has his own ideas, and his father is a very strict man, and he's trying to understand the father. I think it kind of goes along with some of the relationships between young people and parents today, what they call a generation gap, which there is. And I think this will kind of be a series that will explain both sides, explain the parents' side and explain the young people's side, the whole picture.
Just about how old is Billy Blue? We've been wondering about his age.
About 20 years old.
He is about 20 years old. Normally, we would expect to find a 20-year-old male in the Old West pretty well grown up.
Well, they had just arrived in the Old West from Ohio. You see, they're not really Westerners, so to speak.
I see. So Billy Blue is still a little wet
Right.
behind the ears.
As the series goes on, he grows.
I see. Can you tell us a little bit about the episode that you're shooting right now?
Well, this is the grown-up episode. This is Billy Blue Becomes a Man episode.
What's the name of it?
The Peacemaker.
And can you tell us a little bit, without giving too much of the plot away, how Billy Blue becomes a man?
He just gets fed up with all the orders he has to take on the ranch and so forth. He doesn't feel that he's getting any real benefit out of it. He's going to go strike out on his own. And he meets a man who is dealing with the Apaches and trying to make peace with them without violence, which actually goes along with some of the situations we have going today.
This would be the reason for the title Peacemaker,
Right.
as opposed to the name of the famous pistol.
Right. And I fall in love with his daughter, who turns out to be an Apache, adopted daughter. And, well, I won't tell you the ending. And I'm supposedly going to get married to her. They bring her back to the ranch, and there's a lot of concern and so forth.
Who plays the part of the Apache daughter?
Barbara Hershey, who starred in the Monroe series.
On another network, as we
Right.
mentioned in one of our past interviews. Barbara Hershey is probably one of the better-known up-and-coming young actresses today. Mark, how many episodes have we completed so far of the High Chaparral?
I think this is the 21st that we're working on now.
What is the relationship or the ratio of?
Bye, Mom.
That was Linda Cristal, who just passed in front of us there, plays the part of Victoria, Big John Cannon's second wife. Mark, as I was saying, how many episodes are devoted to, say, the character of Billy Blue, and how many does Buck Cannon dominate?
I think it comes up pretty even. Life has had some stories. We all keep the relationships going, no matter if we're in it, if we have a big part that week or not. The relationships are still there. They're still written in. And one week it'll dwell on Buck Cannon. Another week it'll be Life. Another week it'll be Henry Darrow, who plays Monolito. And then the show that was on this past week was devoted to Linda and her association and relationship with John Cannon.
You're on the show that's upcoming
This week.
right. Tell me, Mark, you're back in the same time period on NBC that you were in a few years
in the
ago.
Army. Right.
Do you have any misgivings about this time period, since Wacky As Ship was not as successful as we had hoped it would be?
Well, as the ratings stand now, we don't. We have the highest rating of any new show on the air, and this is only the second week, so the jury's still out. It wasn't a good time slot for the Wacky Ship in the Army because that was sort of a young show. This is much more an adult show, I think, than the Wacky Ship. Whether two westerns on the same night will be strong enough to hold the audience, we just don't know. The jury's still out.
How do the other members of the cast seem to feel about this 2-hour western
Premiere?
No, the 2 hours of westerns on Sunday night. You follow Lauren Green and his
It's
crew.
unanimous. It's an experiment. I think that we're trying to find out if Western lovers are really Western lovers.
How do you think NBC would feel about moving either you or Bonanza should one or the other shows
Well, I
not do
doubt
too
very
well?
much if Bonanza's ever going to be moved anywhere except right where it is.
Mark, we want to thank you very much for taking time out to join us on Woman's Report today, and we'll look forward to seeing you in The Peacemaker, as well as all of the episodes upcoming on the High Chaparral on Channel 4 and NBC, Sunday nights at 8 o'clock here in Tucson. Do you have anything you want to say to our viewers and to Sue Green before we sign it off?
Tucson, it's paradise, as Uncle Buck would say.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
We're talking now to Leif Erickson between the scenes here at High Chaparral at Old Tucson. They're currently filming the episode called The Peacemaker. Leif, thank you for taking time out for talking
thank
to
you
us.
very
on
much,
Channel
Bob.
4.
Thank you.
One quick question, Leif, before you get back on the set. One thing that I'm sure many of our viewers are wondering, can you tell us a little bit about the character Big John Cannon and why John Cannon seems to be such a cold-blooded, hard individual?
Well, in the days of the early West out here in this very area, Tucson and its environs, I am led to believe through the local historian here even, that the settlers, that is the heads of the families, were hard-bitten martinets. Had they not been, there wouldn't be any West. They were not concerned with being liked or being lionized or being charming, which we are today. That seems to be the order of our day in 1967. But back in 1870, when they were pioneering and were faced with Apaches and great dangers, there had to be someone who was strong, who was in charge, who made the decisions and was adamant on the decisions being carried to fulfillment.
Leif, will Big John Cannon mellow as the series goes on?
He will mellow, yes, as the dangers decrease, if they do.
If they do.
Yes, otherwise you've got a kind of a gray character that doesn't mean much, a little wish-wash.
How about Victoria? Will John go?
Oh,
love
Victoria, yes, so we're getting very warm in that department now.
Very
It'll
good.
take some time, of course.
Leif, thank you very much for
Thank
taking
you very
time
much,
out for
Bob.
joining us on Channel 4. We'll look for you on the High Chaparral.
Thank you, and thank you.